regarding to the prompt, I would just say, depending on, I would say like depending on the situation. Like if you're not responsible for someone's trauma if you like meet them and they already have trauma, like you're not necessarily like responsible to fix that. That I feel like it's on their own. But say in a situation like I don't know, maybe you're married and let's say your partner gets into a car accident and they're like traumatized. I feel like you are responsible in that sense to help them through it.
Okay.
Or if you have a part to play in someone's trauma, like you gave them trauma, then you're responsible for that. But um, I don't think, like, all in all, you're not responsible to fix somebody's trauma. Like, if someone has, like, I don't know, childhood trauma or trauma from a past relationship, that's not your job to fix. And it's not necessarily something that you can fix. You can help give someone resources, but that is work that somebody has to do for themselves.
Okay. So I asked this question because of this. Say me and you meet each other, and when I'm realizing now in 2025, just being on these panels and just going through life, it's so many people with certain levels of trauma, which I don't think we understood at a point in our life because we just, when you're a child, you're really living free and clear for the most part. Some children are going through some things, but you're not paying attention to it. I meet you, right? I got some childhood trauma, you got some childhood trauma. I'm not responsible for yours, you're not responsible for mine. However, we get in a relationship and I'm dishonest with you. I cheat on you. Not that I'm responsible for your childhood trauma, which is there. However, I am responsible for something that I done wrong to you and I hurt you. I'm trying to see if we all susceptible to that and if we all have presented that type of behavior to somebody. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I cheat on you, say I cheat on you and you forgive me, I do it again. Not saying I'm not knowing how much it may affect you, right? But it may affect you. Am I responsible for that portion of trauma that I caused to you?
Yes, you are, because that just shows you have like unresolved work you need to do in yourself. Um,
Do you think we
Also,
all do?
I want to say that when you get in a relationship with somebody and their trauma does start to show, um, if you really want the relationship to continue, you you have to communicate, and you can also, what's really helpful is to learn like the kind of person you're dealing with.
Yes. Yes.
Like are they an avoidant, are they dismissive avoidant, are they like their attachment styles, that's what it's called.
Right.
That will show a lot about the person you're dealing with. So there is a boundary you do need to set. Like if somebody cheats on you, I would not advise you to stay with them. But if you do choose to stay with them, um, that is that is something you guys need to like communicate, work out. If somebody wants to make an effort to change, I believe that they can. But if you choose to stay with them and they cheat again, that's I feel like is also on you.
You talking about for allowing it?
Yes.
What about the codependency part of it? That's still on. Is that still on you?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Okay, okay. I don't want to go into a deep dive. I appreciate you, sister. We're gonna let some. You want to speak, brother, or the other sister? I like your Evie. That's your name.
Yes. Well, it's actually Evie, but I do prefer Evie.
How is it Evian, but you prefer Evie?
Well, I only get called Evie when I'm in trouble, so
Yeah, right. I got you. I got
easy.
you. Hey, Thriver, you back? I had got kicked out and I came back with I put a little more in it.
Oh, did you? Oh, let me see. Are we all responsible for someone else? Oh, Lord. I did not even read it. I thought it was the same one.
Yeah, I switched it up. What you think?
Um, if you cause the trauma, I mean, like in this kind of situation, if you cause somebody harm, I think people think of trauma and they think it's just emotional, but anything that's harmful can be traumatic.
You
So
think
that's why you see some people go to jail because they caused harm. They're responsible, in my opinion.
right?
But am I responsible to heal another person's trauma? No. Am I, out of consequences of causing harm? No.
You think you ever caused somebody else trauma?
I'm sorry?
I said, do you think you ever caused somebody else trauma?
Oh, yeah, all the time, intentionally or unintentionally. Yeah, we do. Well, you don't think so?
No, I ain't mean like you said all the time. You wild for that. No, I
No,
meant
all the
like
time.
I meant not intentionally. I meant or intentionally.
Yeah, we do. So here's the crazy thing about trauma, right? It has also a lot to do with who's claiming that harm was done to them. You could do everything you could do as a parent, right? Let me give you an example. Let's say you are a pastor and you have two sons, and you do everything you can do as a parent, and you make sure your kids are taken care of. Then your kids grow up, and could say, my childhood was so traumatic because my father was so strict, had all these rules, and we were in the church all the time, and I lost my identity. Another one can grow up and say, wow, I'm so grateful for my father who sheltered me and gave me structure and kept me away from trouble. You see?
Now, so is it true that parents have caused that trauma, or that's just those people not wanting to be accountable for their actions that caused that? That's why I asked the
That
question. I know it's tricky. Come on.
it is tricky. In my opinion, I think in that situation, it's just our genetic makeup. You know what I'm saying? Our DNA and how we're made up can play tricks on us. And also in our genetic makeup, there is genes that get activated later on, depending on what you encounter in life. So there's this little dormant little genes in there just waiting, you know what I'm saying, for something to happen, and then they get activated. So it's so complex that we can only control what we can control. And that's why I feel like we have to have a moral code as a people to go off of, by a moral code that we all agree upon, and do what you can.
Right, right. I got you. On business, you there, brother?
Yeah, I'm here, family. How you feeling, bro?
I'm okay, man. You
I'm
already know
okay,
I
man. You
appreciate
already know what's up, man. Bro, I really think that the main cause of all the trauma, man, is the fathers not being in the household. You know what I'm saying? Because the man is the one that's built to be able. Not saying the woman can't, deal with pain, but that's not her position. You know what I'm saying? It's reason why she's tender and delicate. You know what I'm saying? And beautiful and nurturing. A man is built for the hard shit. And he's the one to be able to teach how to be able to deal with those problems and the different things you go through. And seeing as that the man ain't in the household, you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people have grown soft because the things that's trauma for people today wasn't even spoken of
you.
back in the 90s and the 60s and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, because people have a trauma over like the weakest thing just because you was rejected, just because you was told no, just because you didn't have too many friends or you didn't fit into those crowds. And so now you got this thing, you call yourself an introvert. You're an introvert by choice. You're an introvert because you're scared. You know what I'm saying? From not being able to hang in those type of circles. You know what I'm saying? So I really just think that it's a father situation. You know what I'm saying? While we all got these traumas. And you know what I'm saying? And that's the one I would say responsible. I think fathers need to stop, going out here sleeping with everything and creating these children and not being in their life. Now, this ain't no shade to the fathers who's trying to be in their child's life. They got to be able to pick better who they're going to be with, and vice versa, women too. You know what I'm saying? Seeing as that ain't in the fold, you know what I'm saying? This is what you get. A really soft society where they call anything a trauma nowadays.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
So what you guys? Come on, Evie, you there?
I do.
Go
I
ahead.
do agree with him about how we need the fathers back in the house. It definitely does play a part because a woman, I don't believe they can't teach a man how to be a man because we're not men. Like what I can teach him what I know, but I don't know what it's like to be a man. So, um, but what was that you were saying about introverts? I don't understand what that had to do with anything because I'm an introvert, but I have my
Come
fathers.
on, bro.
No,
Come
see,
on.
this what I said. I said that you're not an introvert by choice. Now, I ain't talking about you. Some people, they truly do just like hanging with themselves. I know some guys that's like that, but everybody's an introvert now. Everybody.
I hear it all the
You know what I'm
time.
saying? That's not the
I hear it all
case.
the time.
I hear it all the time, bro. Oh man, I'm an introvert, really. You know what I'm saying? But now they
I
got another
think
word, omnivert.
Yep,
I,
somebody just told me that. I'm an omnivert, introvert and extrovert. Come on, Evie. Come on, come on.
I feel
Like,
like
man, you just a person, bro. Like
if you
it's
spend
crazy.
no, hear me out. If you spend like a lot of time alone, you just get used to your own company. So then like being around people is just because I feel like I've been like this my whole life, like even since I was younger. And then you go around people, it's just it can be a lot. But I enjoy like I enjoy my own company.
But you here with us, and we like your company. That mean, go ahead, brother. Come on.
Right. No, no, no. I agree. I mean, if she's saying it like that, yeah, you can be by yourself for a long at a time, and then you like, what I'm saying, you just want to deal with you. That's how you train up dogs. If you want him to really be protective and have that, what I'm saying, an assertive nature where he'll bite, what I'm saying, if you command him to, sit him by himself for a while. Don't let him out there play with everybody, let everybody pat him. No. Let him be by himself, you know what I'm saying? And he starts smelling himself, and that's the only thing he gonna want to smell. And there's some people that's like that, where they get anxiety when they go out there. But I'm saying everybody nowadays claims that they're an
Yeah,
introvert,
I meet them
but
all.
they're really not an introvert. I'm telling you, fam. I'm telling you, and I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Just tell me anything. I mean, you just didn't fit in those circles. You just ain't getting the attention that you want. You just ain't able to do the certain things. You don't feel comfortable within yourself. That's really what it comes down to. It ain't that you an introvert. You got insecurities. You got quote unquote traumas. You know what I'm saying, from your childhood. But this is the conversation that be too hard, and this is why I say the fathers need to be in the household because they can talk to their child. Help them work through that situation. Of course, it'll be different with a young man than it is with a young lady. But seeing as that father ain't there, like I said, hey, call it what you want, but it's a lot of women out here raising effeminate men. You know what I'm saying? That just can't deal with their emotions, and that's where the trauma's at. Broken
Okay.
households.
So let's say we meet each other, and the father wasn't in the household with the young lady, and she has that level of trauma, but at the time you don't know her, she hasn't displayed that. What do you do at that point?
That's why
Honestly,
you don't rush.
Come on, sister. Huh?
that's. Go ahead. You want her to go ahead? Go ahead, and answer.
Yeah,
She go.
both of you. Yeah, come on.
I would say that's why you don't rush right into things, because you're not gonna know who somebody is right off the bat,
Right.
which is why people need to be careful. Like a lot of people are rushing into having kids, into getting married. I would like you got to give it months, even. Well, I would say even like at least a year to really get to
Would you
know.
say rushing into a situation is a sign of trauma?
Um, no, I'm saying you don't want to rush into something because you don't know who somebody is. You don't know what kind of trauma they have. And I'm saying that when you rush into things, that's also a problem with all these broken homes because people are rushing into relationships, they're rushing into having kids, and then there's all these like all their traumas starting to come out, and they're like, oh, we don't get along, like this is not going to work, and then they're breaking up, the fathers are leaving, the mothers are leaving. So yeah, you just gotta get to know the person first. Take it slow. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Standing on business. Come on, brother.
Yeah, so I would definitely say, man, life is loving at your own risk, man. Kudos to my cousin, man. He taught me that. That's a situation of
You cut out. You there, brother?
avoid it. This is what calculated risk. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Wait, repeat the
Can you
last
hear
thing
me?
you said.
Huh? What you say, sister?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you had cut off for a minute.
Can you hear me?
Evie, you there?
My bad, bro.
Oh, I was
So
just
You got an
asking.
echo. You got also got an echo, bro. You got also got an echo, bro.
Hold on.
Okay.
I mean, you gotta come out the app.
Hold on, let
And
me see something.
come out. Come out. Don't. Just go to. Just come out the app. Just come out the app and come back in.
I'll be right back in. All right.
What happened? Hello?
I didn't say exit.
Oh, come on, brother. Come on. Sister, you were speaking because we couldn't hear you.
No, I was just asking him to repeat what he had said because he cut out a little.
Yeah, he had an echo. Access or Acquest. Come on, bro.
You had it right the first time, bro.
Yeah,
And also nice glasses. Can I have them after you done?
come on. Yeah, you got them. Okay, I'm finna set the brother back. Come on, you can speak, brother.
Go
Can
ahead.
you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah,
Back. Sound real good.
No. What?
All right.
Echoes back and the echoes back. It's on. I think it's on. You in the car or something, bro?
Oh wait, we might got it. Hold on, let me see. Let me see something. Hold on.
You said it's an echo?
Hold
Yeah.
on. Hold on, let me try something.
All right. Can y'all hear me all right?
Hello?
All right, so like I was saying is I think that it's like my cousin said, life is loving at your own risk. It's something he taught me. And in dating somebody, you know, it's a calculated risk involved. Calculated. Keyword, calculated risk. You know what I'm saying? It's not something you just jump into. You got to be able to pay attention to your feelings. Sometimes your feelings can intoxicate you so much where you don't have discernment no more. You get drunk, you know what I'm saying, off the newness of the situation. So if you're talking to somebody and their traumas is not showing yet, the thing is it's going to take time. And that's with anything. In process of time, all things should show itself. Now, how long are you willing to wait? How long are you willing to be patient to find yours, to find that one? Because everybody out here, let's just be 100. Everybody out here got some type of baggage. I don't care if they're a man or a woman. If you're living in this world, in Western society, with all the things they got going on nowadays, we got an issue. That's going to be an issue. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, you got to be able to see what you can handle. You know what I'm saying? What you can deal with and what you won't deal with. I heard Eartha Kitt say something like when they said to her, compromise. She said, compromise? For what? I'm mad? And everybody in the comments like, yeah, Eartha Kitt's just the boss. No, Eartha Kitt's a goofy for that. Absolutely. If you want anything to work out, man, it's going to be a compromise situation of what you can and will not deal with. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to find nobody out here that's Mr. Perfect. You know what I'm saying? And love, a lot of people think love just means that there's no hurt at all. No, there's a love you understand and there's a love you don't. The love everybody understands is the one that's you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're smart, the one that compliments you on everything that you do. But the love that people don't understand is the one that helps them to grow. It's telling them they're wrong for something, or they need to work harder, or they need to change their mindset on whatever certain thing that they're doing. But people out here today, like we talking about with the subject matter, it's soft. It's soft. You know what I'm saying? As dough, soft.
What you think that
and they
makes?
need their fathers out here.
You think we shifted as a society?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. I mean, it's a lot of things we got further and further away from. You know what I'm saying? Certain traditions, yes, they are traditions. Stuff that people kept in certain societies. Certain traditions is good for civilization, for people, for couples. But when we get into all these nuances, you know what I'm saying? When you go into something new, there's always going to be trials and errors. You know what I'm saying? It's like doing a science project or you trying to engineer a engine or something. You go through trials and errors, trials and errors, trials and errors, and we're going through a lot of that. There's so many new things coming out in the society today. It's crazy, man. And everybody, and I do mean everybody, gets on this app or on social media and trauma dumps. Nobody takes time to heal. I get we need somebody to be able to talk to, but you got a circle for that. And if you don't have a circle for that, there's places you can go to, people you can call. But you get online and you talk to other people's play. I'm gonna be long-winded, bro. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna just stop talking while I'm ahead, bro, and let the other brothers speak. Cause you know me, I go on and on and on.
You was cooking, bro. But I appreciate you let me talk. You was cooking that gumbo. That gumbo was good. You had the roux kind of black, and that's how I like it. Black roux gumbo.
Come on, brother.
With the sausage and the seafood and the shrimp and the all the mud bugs and everything. So basically, are we all responsible for someone else's trauma? See, the thing about it is, as men, we'll come and get a woman. We'll take a woman's trauma on, and we have no problems doing it because we look at it as a job to be complete, and we want to fix that. We want to fix that completion and all this stuff. The thing is, in some women, not all women, they look at our trauma instead of fixing the trauma. They try to not. It's something else. It's another word, not nurture it, but it's like I don't know. But the thing is, us as men, we take on the responsibility because we feel like it's an honor to take on the responsibility of your trauma. Of your trauma because guess what? We want to fix you. We want to make you a better woman. I don't know why women don't do that to men, especially nowadays. So if a man's willing to go in the street, pick you up, especially if you pick you up, and this is one of the things that men do. If you work at McDonald's or if you're on the side of the road or anything like that, he will take you in till he will bring you in his house, marry you, and turn you into a celebrity overnight. Women won't do that.
I'm gonna say something real quick. I'm gonna say something to what you said, and I'm gonna be real quick, bro. I'm sorry I disagree with you on one point. Women absolutely take in problems and try their damnedest to make it better, but the ones they taking the problem in, it's some people that is a lost cause. It's some people that just a lost cause. You is not gonna change you. It's not gonna help them. They need something else to heal them. But women out here that constantly taking on the Pookies and the Ray Rays. And they're doing them dirty.
I was gonna say something on that, and I'm glad you said that. See, that's the thing about women. Okay, women's like is the same level as us being in love. So as soon as a woman, and if I'm wrong, ladies, please tell me if I'm wrong. Y'all like is the same level as a man being in love with a woman. So when a man is in love with a woman, he'll do anything. He'll go through heavens and hell. He'll give his body. He'll give everything. Damn near his life over just for that woman. When it comes to y'all women liking a man, y'all will give y'all whole entire bodies and thinking, since you like this man, he's everything. He done said the right words. He done did everything in his possibility. You like him, and that's basically it. You done gave. I'm not saying all women, you done gave them your body, you done got pregnant, you done had this man baby, you done made a family with him. But guess what? You didn't see things in a perspective. Did he really want all of that? Did he really want maybe when you sat there and said you like him and you gave him your body, that's his lucky day. Oh, she likes me, so she gives me her body, and then that's it. I don't want nothing else from you. But yet you still chase after that man because you like that man. You're basically, I'm just gonna say you're in love with that man since you like him now. You're in love with that man, so you just gave it to him. So basically, you created a trauma for yourself. You saw something that you liked, and the first thing Which I'm be honest with you, in the black community, our women need to work on that. You need to understand the difference between. You need to understand between your likes and your loves. Yeah, you mixing you basically switched everything. So that's one of the reasons why men say get a woman to like you. You can get everything you want out of her, and that's it.
I'll have to say this. This is where I feel like sometimes we don't really understand, and it's not our fault, right? We don't have the education just yet to really understand the intricacies of trauma. Let me paint it this way. Have you guys seen the movie Venom, the Venom series? How he
I
encountered Venom and slowly it took over his body?
Are you talking about that? But that's what you call a different personality.
Hang on. So what I'm trying to say is trauma, and here's the crazy thing. Trauma can also be passed down through DNA. Science has proven this to be true, okay? And trauma, what it does, it kind of like takes hold of you. It's kind of, the Bible calls it the stronghold, right? These strongholds. And it kind of like, it's, takes root in you in different ways and in different parts of your life. And a lot of people, majority, I would say higher than 50%, in the 70, 80, almost everybody has suffered one trauma or another. So all of us are traumatized one way or another. In a different ways, but we are. So what I've learned that people who are traumatized are not necessarily bad people. It's kind of like how you would say someone is not well and they're sick and they just need to heal and get medicine or whatever they need to do. So when you meet someone, you're like, oh, this person is traumatized, and you quickly kind of shrug them off. I don't think that's necessarily appropriate. I think what we need to understand is look at where they're at and see if they've learned anything, see if they're working on their healing, see if they know what's going on with them, and determine which red flags you're going to accept and which, you know what I'm saying, which things are negotiable or not negotiable. I can almost promise you almost everybody has suffered trauma, almost everybody. And I'm not going to blame it on fathers because those fathers also experienced trauma, right? And so how do you blame people who had circumstances that they couldn't control? Right? But what I would say is do the work. Start doing the work. There's no more excuses now. In America, absolutely not. There's a lot of resources you can use. Even most jobs offer ways where you can pay for it. Insurances cover this. You can do it online, you can do it in person, you can do different therapies, you know what I'm saying? So do the work now that you know something is wrong. Something is wrong.
you still have something to say.
Thriving. Let me ask you a question, Thriving. And then I gotta bounce. Hey, so you just said there's no more excuses in America and stuff like that, right? Let me ask you this, okay? If there's a person who's struggling with alcoholism and when they step out, down to the corner is a liquor store. Across the street is his partner who we always drink with. He there. The other end of the street, there's another liquor store. There's smell of booze in the air. I get what you're saying, no excuses, but there are so many vices out here to throw you off that path. It really takes a stronghold, as you was talking about, that goes the other end too. That's another end of the spectrum. Because right, it could be a stronghold of toxicity or it could be a stronghold of healing. It comes down to who you surround yourself with and if you're willing to. Like you talked about the Bible, it says a broken heart and a contrite spirit the Lord would not despise. So that takes a person to becoming humble themselves and really cry out to the Most High and surround themselves around people that's going to be able to hold them accountable and keep them in that direction. But it's not a lot of that today. It's not a lot. But I tell you what a lot is. It's a lot of people out here that's building like Misery Loves Company. They love bringing more people on board, a part of their team. So how can somebody truly heal with all that stuff around? Like, in your opinion, how can we truly heal with all that when you just walk out the door and the very vice you're trying to get away from is right there?
You gave a question answers, and then you asked the same question for your answers. You already gave the answers.
But okay, you're right. I did. I gotta get on. I went on one. You gave me a cheat sheet. You gave me a cheat sheet now.
Okay, so
Hey, yo,
well,
hey, go
you
ahead.
said yeah, you said it though. Like you have to want to change, and it might even take drastic things like cutting off those people who hold you back. You have to look at your situation and say, I don't like where I'm at. This situation is holding me back from getting to where I need to go. What do I need to do? And you evaluate all angles from your friends, from where you work, to even to where you live. You might have to move.
Yeah, it's
You
like
might.
that saying, the people you hang out with are the people you become. So you have to get to know yourself. You have to look at yourself, ask yourself the hard questions like what do I want for myself? Who do I want to become? And if you're looking around you and all these things, all these people are only bringing negativity to your life, you're hanging out with all these people who are only bringing you down, then it's time to cut them off because you're only doing yourself a disservice. And you
Yeah,
can try to
I
help
agree.
people, but you can't help people who don't want to be helped. Because I've had a few friends I had to cut off because they were only just they weren't taking anything serious. They just wanted to go out and party. And this is the time when I was in college. They didn't um like this one friend I had, like she didn't have a car, she didn't have a job, she didn't have custody of her kid, and I really did try to help her out because I really do care for her. But all she would say to me is, "Oh, I'm young and I'm turned," and she just she was making me like drop her off in these like sketchy areas and just just all in all just being very inconsiderate, and I had to cut her off because like you're just gonna end up getting me in a bad situation. I've tried to help you get a job. I've tried to help you see like scheduling a visitation for your kid, but if you don't want to do the work, I cannot do it for you.
Yep. You sound like a very giving person too. And as a giver, I recommend putting limits on what you give because takers will never put limits on what they take from you.
Mm.
And also,
No, I've definitely had to learn the hard way.
yeah, no, and that's part of having a good heart. You know, people are going to take advantage of you, and you'll learn over time and experiences that you do got to protect yourself because that's all you got at the end of the day. And Um, me personally, like I do feel responsible for helping my wife with her trauma because I know I have a lot of trauma myself, and I recently started going to therapy. And a lot of people have a bad perception of therapy. They think that you only need to go to therapy if you got something wrong with you, but like deeply, everybody in this world got something wrong with them. Maybe they just are in denial about it. Maybe they ain't ready to accept it, but like she said, we all have trauma, and it takes, what I mean, a real um honest person. You got to be real with yourself. We all know when we fucked up. We know when we're feeling some type of way about something, if we're way down. And what I mean, me going to therapy, I've learned a lot about myself and why, I handle certain scenarios the way I do, why I was in fight or flight mode. And I feel like for personal development and growth, if you want to be, that person, the best version of yourself you could be, it's gonna, you got to go to those uncomfortable places. Now, you got to certain things you might not want to speak on, but like you'll heal from it that way because you hold on to a lot of these things and you don't even realize it. So the sooner you realize it, you can cut it out.
That's we appreciate you doing that, young brother. That's a good stand up. That's a good thing, man. That's stand up to be able to take that accountability. Mr. Beans and then Miss Lovely, we want to let you guys speak. I see you sitting here. Mr. Beans, come on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's going on? You right? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, I'm from UK, but so I'll say to this, right? I feel like, everyone's got trauma, which was right, but if you're gonna like get into a relationship, you need to ask yourself if you understand, because a lot of BOK people seem to say, if the person likes me, I'll go for him. It just doesn't work like that. I feel like you can't like someone. You have to understand someone because you're gonna be around that person all the time. So you need to learn to understand where he's coming from. You need to learn to understand how he reacts and how you engage with this person, right? And I feel like that's missing a lot of times. A lot of BOK women, I hear them say the man has to like me, or the man has to like me. It's like, where's your understanding of where critical thinking is needed at some stages and purpose of a conversation, right? So that's where a lot of people go wrong. And I think, people just jump into multiple relationships without having time out for themselves to ask themselves where they've gone wrong, and where's the structure of evaluation of how I can prevent myself to get myself into situations. Because once you have multiple relationships, right, you're not really gonna be you're not really gonna know what you want at the end of the day, because you've had multiple partners, and it's gonna get too much for yourself, and you're gonna lack peace. And that's where the toxic behavior comes in, because you've not really found peace within yourself. Like, do you know what I mean? So, I feel like a lot of stuff that people are getting to know each other is just very backwards thinking at times. So I feel like understandings are very important, because if you don't understand someone, you're not really going to understand yourself. And that's where the accountability and the responsibility comes in, because you have to understand why you have done that, or why the other party has done that. And you have to learn to, really understand of the importance of moving forward with yourself every day and growing within your own self. So I'll say that's my point.
All right. Appreciate that, brother. Come on, lovely.
Y'all. So I just wanted to share some things that I recently learned. And my partner and I were in therapy. So I recently found out that the reason why a lot of people think that they can get through work, and they feel like they're much more sufficient or productive or less triggered when they're not in relationships with other people, is because your attachment style related to your childhood and abandonment wounds and all of those different things can only be triggered when you are in an intimate relationship and a dynamic with a person. So when you decide to remove yourself from relationships and dynamics, it does become easier to obviously maneuver through the world, because you don't have anyone holding you accountable to like your evolution. So when I first became like really, really into learning about like my PTSD, right? Because I think we throw around the word trauma very loosely, but trauma is actually a physiological thing. It's a nervous system thing. It's a mental health thing, emotional. It can even be intimate, all those different layers of it, right? So when the question is posed, are we responsible for someone's trauma? No, we don't. We're not responsible for the previous trauma that's been inflicted on them. But I think that if we want to love people and be in relationships with people, we do have to be responsible, if we want to love them, right, to see their evolution and growth if they are choosing to grow and evolve, right? So I think that no, we're not responsible for people's trauma, but nobody's perfect. Like nobody's perfect. And I think about the times where I've also isolated myself from people that I like didn't want to associate with because they trigger things about myself that I had to work on. But instead of looking at it as something that I needed to work on, I looked at it as something that I should be defending, because that's what's comfortable for us, because that's what we are taught and that's how we were raised. So I think there are ways to hold people accountable in relationships and still have them in your life if they are not an immediate threat or, like abusive or something like that, like something really extreme. But I think we've all been duped, y'all. I think we've all been told to go on this spiritual journey or this healing journey alone and to really individualize the way we do the work. But I really feel like we're supposed to be having connections with each other. We're supposed to be in relationships with each other. We're supposed to have dynamics with each other, whether it's romantic, whether it's friendly, whether it's working on that paternal relationship with your father, or trying to work on your relationship with whoever's in your life, right? Yeah, because just as humans, we do better in groups. We do better in community at the end of the day. So that's my thoughts on it. And I never knew that, and I wanted to just share that and share some of my, realizations, because I was always like, damn, like I'm cool being single. Everyone's like, I'm good being single. I don't need to be in a
Right,
relationship.
right,
And then it's like, yeah, of course, because no one's holding you accountable.
right.
Like, of course, because no one is like seeing some things that you should probably grow in that are habits or things that you do that are from your childhood.
Wow.
So yeah, y'all, like I just had this realization last week. So if y'all have any other perspective about it, I would love to hear it.
So what about those who have been in multiple relationships that have just jumped to jump?
Right, right. So
So
yeah,
where would they work at? Like
I was actually
where would the
gonna,
work be done?
yeah, I was actually gonna bring that up earlier too. So there's apparently in psychology or in like the relationship coaching space, there are certain stages into a relationship, right? The honeymoon phase, and then you have like the okay, I'm acclimating to this person's environment phase. And then the third phase is normally the stage in which a lot of people don't know how to make it past or get through because you normally need another person to support you with that. That's why therapy is so important. So instead of actually being held accountable, right? Because I was talking about people will be single, so they don't have to be held accountable in relationships. Instead of being held accountable, they'll go get a new supply. They'll go to someone else. So they don't ever have to get past that third stage of working on themselves entirely. They get to keep starting the honeymoon stage over and over and over and over and over. And see, that's where in the long run, you see who really ends up, bearing the fruits of their labor, right? Because if you're young and you're deciding to use your time to build these superficial relationships with people over and over and over and over, and you never get to that point of actual growth and evolution, I guarantee you might have a hard time having dynamics when you're old. And you might not have that family that can take care of you when you're old. Or you might not have that community around you when you're old, because we're going to get old, y'all. So that is true. People will hop to relationship to relationship to relationship, constantly experiencing the endorphins and the dopamines of being in a new relationship, but they never get past the growth stage. So they're constantly stuck in the loop of just like, serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, all of these different things that make you be like, yeah, this is why I'm with this person. And I left that person because this person's so amazing. And then right when you start to see them for who they are and they start to see you for who you are, oh, you can either stay in that relationship, work on it, grow on it, or you can leave, right? Or you can be single. So yeah, that's my response to that.
Hey,
So would you
Ali,
s-
what's up, Ali?
What's
Oh,
up, brother? How you doing?
come on, man. What's happening?
Man, you know what's going on, man. Taking it one step at a time, my brother. One step at a
I
time.
thought I thought I was gonna get in with you Thursday.
Oh,
You got,
I didn't know. I thought you was busy. You ready to come back?
yeah.
Oh, you already know what time it is. What you talking about? You
What
always
time?
invited, man. You
What
you want to
time?
come? You
What
trying to
time?
come to the 7 p.m. or 5 p.m.?
7.
Okay, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You locked in, man. All you got to
Yeah.
do is say the word, my brother.
All right.
You
Hi,
in there like
Ali.
swimwear. Hey, Melanin, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, Melanin need to start coaching a lot of these women, man.
Yeah, she do.
Look at the sister wife.
Don't start no shit.
Laid back out the way.
Oh man,
Come on, Ali, talk to her.
where we going? We addressing the prompt.
Yeah.
Are we responsible for someone else's trauma? No, we are not. And if
Come on.
somebody helps you, if somebody decides to help you with your trauma, you should see it as a privilege and a blessing that someone takes the time to help you with your trauma. But it's your responsibility to deal with how you react to the things that's happened to you, whether they're good and bad. Because what I'm noticing, even when sisters talk about this subject, if the trauma is so hurtful to you, why do so many of our sisters love the men who disrespect and treat them wrong versus the men who love them and praise them and do anything for them, you know. And we keep making it a we thing. But if we were able to have open relationships, the man would be loyal to his side chick. He'd be loyal to his wife. He'd be loyal to his 304. He'd be loyal to his nice girl, and he'd be loyal to his mean girl. Most men don't have problems dealing with the negative side of their women. That means they actually love them. It's most of the sisters, whether they get a good man or a bad man, where they don't stay loyal to either one of them. So I think this is beyond trauma, and I think trauma is being used as a justification to not have healthy relationships. It's more on what a lot of our sisters are committing to mentally, because they can treat the pastor good, they can treat the sergeant good, they can treat their girlfriends who be lying good, even though they know they be gossiping and messy good. They can treat the cat and dog good. They can treat their friends good. They can treat their boss good. They can treat their professor good. They treat everybody good except for a man. And that's where I land. God's plan.
Come on, Ali. Come on. Come on, Evie. You want to respond? You want to respond to that, or lovely, or unapologetic? I just said you come in. Come on, respond to him.
Well, I mean, I would just say that that's almost a projection of how he shows up in his dynamics with the women in his life. So I can't really say that
I like that. Did you hear Ali?
all men might agree with that.
I heard her. Are you in a relationship, my sister?
I definitely am, yes.
You're in a relationship? How long your relationship been?
We've been together for a year and a half.
For a year and a half. How many relationships were you in prior to that?
I would say 2 long-term relationships.
And were those good men or bad men?
They were good people who made bad decisions.
Oh, so people that make bad decisions, is that bad men or good men?
I think it can be neutral. I don't think it can be so polar.
So if I make bad decisions, can be a good person making bad decisions.
Now that's a moral.
I think it
That's a
depends
moral
on what
question.
decisions you're
I like where
making.
y'all going. Come on.
Okay, well,
So I
okay. So
think
it
that
was the guy. What was the men? Did the men who were making bad decisions know they were making bad decisions?
my first partner, he didn't realize the impact, and then my second partner, he
Mhm.
dealt with a lot of shame.
Huh? No. So hold on. Let me ask you this: Are you for helping people
Cam
with their
up. Look
trauma?
what they camming up.
I also earlier I had said I don't think we're responsible for the trauma that people haven't been inflicted onto them, like prior to them
Hmm.
coming into your life. But I think
Hmm.
that if you love a person enough to help them work through becoming the best version of themselves, because we're all capable of doing it, I think
Right.
that, I think the universe rewards those dynamics for sure.
Right. But do you think most sisters get with men and say, "Oh my God, this is a great man," or do you think most sisters get with men to change them?
I think that, like, are you asking me the women in my life or the women in
No,
general?
no,
In
because
general.
a lot of women love to do that and say they don't know nobody that does that. In general, do women try accept men as they are, or do they try to change a man?
I think most of the time women try to enforce a man to demonstrate behavior he initially introduced the women to.
Respectfully, I didn't say any of those words that you said. What I asked was,
But I
do most
responded to
wo-
your
do?
question.
But no, you didn't, because if you asked me what 2 plus 2 was, I would tell you 4. I wouldn't start talking about the square root of 9.
I
So
know, but if you ask me what 3 plus 1 is, that would still equal 4.
no, I didn't ask you nothing that you just addressed.
I'm
Do
just
most?
saying that I responded to you
So
and you
I'm gonna
don't
ask
like
you.
my
I'm gonna
response.
ask you. I'm gonna ask you again. Do most women accept men as they are, or do they try to change a man?
I said, I think women change men and try to get them to be a person that men
Hmm.
normally lead on. I answered your question.
That men say it again. That last part.
That men initially lead on.
What? Hold on. You said women try to change men into who men who are they
So
addition.
let
That
me
don't
give
make.
you let me give you perspective on how I think about it. In my head, when I've been single and I'm actively dating, right? Because I'm not like a serial dater.
Hmm.
But in the moments where I was single and I was dating, I assessed men's behavior based off of consistency, right? I think most people do. measure people's behavior off of their consistency.
Wait, can
Hmm.
I
So if
elaborate a
I'm dealing
little?
with the man for 3 months, right, and he's doing everything, let's say getting me flowers every week or like
Hmm.
talking to me, emotional intelligence, yada yada yada, and then let's say 6 months go by, doubling the time, and he completely switches, and I
Hmm.
try to force him to be a person that he initially showed me, but he's not demonstrating that behavior, and he's actually not working on it and not trying to, embody that consistency.
Hmm.
It
So
ideally shouldn't be my right to change this person and force them to be someone they're not. But I don't think it'd be unjust for me to be confused as to why you're not being who
right.
you said you
So
were.
so so the main question I'm trying to ask you is when a woman gets with a man, does she typically try to change the man for what she likes, or does she try to change into what that man likes?
I think I just answered your question. I can't answer your question again.
No, because well, that's fine. You don't have to answer it
Wait, can
again, but
can I elaborate a little? I think on
of
what she's
course, if,
trying to say. So whenever people meet for the first time, they're
Mhm.
putting up like their best behavior, and so a man's gonna show you his best behavior. He's gonna, oh, you're so beautiful, give you the nice text, give you the flowers, and so I think what's happening is a lot of women like they fall in love like or they're so like caught up in this act, and then when he starts showing who he really is, they have a hard time cutting the man off. But I think it has to do with the level that you love yourself at.
see, that's what you're saying, and you may be saying with her, but what we're saying is that y'all go after the guys that don't show you attention. Y'all go after
But
the
No,
that has
guys
to
who
do
no, I
with the
don't.
level that you
y'all
love
y'all
yourself
y'all
at.
Not
oh,
me.
and that you don't have to personally go, but most women go after the men who don't show them attention, who don't praise them, who
Right,
are
but that would
mystery.
be a result of their attachment style. That's what I was saying
No, you see how
earlier.
you keep the no, but I'm not. I'm saying that most women like the
Can
man
I can
who are
I
supposedly
explain?
who are
Can I
supposedly top.
explain why?
They
Well,
probably want
if you
avoidant men.
if you want to, go ahead. But the
Um,
thing is that the thing is
I think you
y'all are
just started something, Ali. Hold on, let him. Come
all
on,
right.
sister.
Go ahead, sister.
So I think that also is a form of trauma that comes from childhood. If you haven't had, like, especially if you've never had a father, you don't know what love is. How, um, you don't know how you should be treated. So subconsciously, subconsciously you are going after that. You're not thinking these thoughts like
Right.
in your main part of your brain. You're not thinking like, oh, I want this behavior, but in your subconscious brain, because that is how you grew up. Like say you grew up in an abusive environment, this is what you will be attracted to because you you were never taught what love is. You never had the
Hmm.
love. I don't know how to explain it fully, but
If most women, so do you believe most women move like that?
I don't think it's the majority. I think social media does push it out like it's a
So
lot,
then
but
why do
I
the
would.
majority of women deal with those kind of men if they're not that type of woman?
Because Ali, it's lifestyle, bro. Like they have a certain lifestyle that they like. Let's be
Yep.
realistic. Without the man's lifestyle, you're not really gonna accept the man for who he is. As I want to go back to earlier what you said about the question you asked Lovely, yeah. To be honest, women don't really go for a guy for who he is as a person. Like his resources and lifestyles matters. I'm not generalizing all women because there's 7 continents in the world. I can't speak for all 7 continents in the world. But I would say the majority of women that are on the media, most of them really look for a lifestyle with that guy. They don't really like the guy for who he is. Let's be honest.
I mean, but wouldn't his lifestyle be a product of who he is?
It can be, but
It
with
completely is.
lifestyle, right? But the lifestyle can only be temporary. That's the problem. Like you don't think the lifestyle can be forever.
Yeah, that's
It
not true.
won't be
That's not
forever.
right. That's not true.
Lifestyle.
The lifestyle doesn't quantify to who the
Well,
person
what?
is. Because
Yeah.
I could,
What do we mean by lifestyle?
well,
I'm saying, okay, we're talking, let's start from what he's wearing to his his looks and how the way he presents himself.
So those are all
Like most,
superficial things.
pardon?
Those are all superficial aspects of lifestyles, right? You said clothes, way they look, and the way he presents himself.
Yeah.
But if you are looking at a man who's presenting himself and you're interacting with him, that would imply that you have some attraction to him. So those
Yeah, but
aspects of the lifestyle are not the problem that's being criticized by women and why
I
women
mean it
want
is.
men.
I mean it is. You don't know Tyrone's got two baby mothers. He's got about six tattoos around his face. He's got dreadlocks, and he might
Right.
look
It,
good,
this
but
That's
this is
how it is when you
this.
date. I'm not gonna
in other people's eyes, he is a problem. And
I know
you
how.
women seem to attract guys like that, which kind of makes no
Yeah.
sense to me. You can see the red
Right.
flag in person, but it's like you still go with him because
The,
he's got a nice
right.
lifestyle.
This is where the sisters can be disingenuous. They know exactly who they're dealing with when they pick a guy. They get to learn him.
100%.
They know who their friends are. They know what kind of lifestyle they're already living. They know what he's driving. They want to know where he lives. They want to know what he does for a living. And then when something goes bad, they like to go, "Oh, he changed. He wasn't who I thought he was." When like for instance, Chris Brown. Women say they like righteous men, but if you put 10 pastors in a room that look like Chris Brown, they still rather date the
But
current Chris
looking
Brown
like
than a
Chris Brown and
pastor.
being Chris Brown are two different things.
See how you just deflected right away?
I'm just saying,
Deflected.
Would most women want to be a pastor that looks like Chris Brown or actually Chris Brown the way he is right now?
bro.
No, Chris Brown the way he
See
is.
how you said
That's a
both?
fact.
Don't
That's
ask
a
me
fact.
about Chris
No, the Chris Brown the way
Because
he is.
because
No,
this
no,
is
come
and
on,
this is
lovely. You know the
and
answer
this is
already.
and this is what I meant, my brother,
Brown. I
bigger
have a vendetta against
podcast.
Chris
Women love for men to lie for them. They don't like the truth. They despise the truth. They want you to lie for them. If you tell them the
That's
truth,
a lie.
they will push back on it and they will fight it until you lie for them.
I just want to
That's a
clock
lie.
your
See?
hypocriticalness, your hypocrisy real quick,
Mm-hmm.
because you just said that women are able to tell men for who they are when they meet
Mm-hmm.
them. And then you
Yes.
just said women want men to lie to them. So
Mm-hmm.
what is it? Are
That's the
men
same thing.
lying or
I'm
are men
confused.
There's no
I'm sorry?
contradiction. There's no
That's a
contradiction.
contradiction. Yes, it is.
You want to
Because
change the man, like
you can't
okay, now you're
say
gonna
that
go. Now you're gonna monologue.
I wasn't really finished
Lie.
because you
Hold
know
on,
you
we're gonna let Lovely, and then
Like,
we're gonna allow the two ladies having spoken unapologetic and daily love, and Lovely gonna talk back to the brother. And go ahead, sister.
all I'm saying is that you acknowledge two things that can't coexist together, right? You said first, women know who men are from the get go, and they ignore whatever, blase, blase, right? That was your statement. And you said, well, women want men to lie to them. So if men are lying and women know them for who they are, that doesn't make sense because if you're lying
At
about who
all.
you are, how am I supposed to know? Like that's a little bit like that doesn't make any
No,
sense to me.
you're not trying to make sense purposely. If
No,
bigger
it
pot,
does not make sense. You
if you saw,
cannot
you're gonna let me
lie about
respond.
who you
You're
are
like
and I don't know
you're
that.
making statements and not letting me respond. I want you to respond. I love the conversation, but you purposely will overtalk to deflect. So
I like
can
to
I
hear y'all
expound on
building.
can I
Y'all can.
expound on what you said?
We want to hear y'all building. Go ahead, brother.
Women want Future to be a loyal gentleman. They don't accept him as being a thug. They try to change them, but they know exactly who Future is. They know who Usher is, but they want their version of who Usher is and Chris Brown that they can control. When they can't control them, then they'll weaponize them against themselves and say, this man is controlling. This man is a womanizer. This man can't control himself. Y'all know exactly the brothers y'all talk to. Y'all look over the righteous man. You look over the good man. You'll hold the
That's a
man down
lie.
in prison, but you won't hold the
Oh no,
electrician down.
not me. I would
That's a lie.
never.
It's never y'all.
Yeah,
It's
but
never y'all.
they
I would
call
never
people that
hold a
told the
man down
truth.
in
They call them
prison.
narcissists. You call men narcissists, right, for telling the truth. Like I hear a lot of BLK women saying, "Oh, you're narcissistic for certain statements." That's the truth. So what Ali is
Well,
saying,
it's
I
because
kind of relate because you lot. I'm not saying all of you, but I'm saying majority of you lot do call that narcissistic behavior. Like,
They never
and
say they never say I
oh,
dropped the
you're a
ball.
therapist now.
They
if
never
Ali
said
is
I was
telling the
controlling.
truth,
Hold on. Let's allow the two sisters that came having spoken. Then the young brother at the bottom. Come on, sister, unapologetic.
So,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest. I think a lot of women go off of potential, right? I got the potential to think this person can be this way, right? So the potential comes off of their perspective and not what that person is showing them. So whatever
Bingo.
that person shows them, they get disappointed. But how could you be disappointed, right? When your potential is huh?
Now go
No,
ahead,
that
sister.
you're bingo. No, you cooking.
Um, but your potential was built off of your perspective, not his actions. A lot of times we got to remember we give people the blueprint how to treat us, right? And so I can only be mad at you the first time you do something to me. After that, I got to hold myself accountable for anything that you done to me, right? Because I've subjected myself to the situation by allowing myself to stay in a situation. So I could easily say my ex-husband dragged me for 13 years. How? I stayed for 13 years. I can only blame on the first thing, everything after that. Now, do I take responsibility for his actions? Absolutely not. But do I take responsibility for myself staying in the situation? Absolutely so.
Sister,
I
how
can't
you
even be mad at you.
hold on, sister. How did you get to that point where you at right now?
I had to do some deep inner healing. A lot of people don't realize this. When you take yourself out of a situation, it's only one person that you got to wake up to every morning, and that's yourself. I look at myself in the mirror, and I got to realize, like, how did I get here? And sometimes you got to do self-reflecting to realize I got here because I allowed a lot of stuff that I shouldn't allowed. I was looking for the things, and he's right. A lot of times women do look for those, not the normal, and it's because those are the ones that are attractive to people, right? Those are the ones that's going to bring you attention. But a lot of
So
times the problem is,
you forgave that person, huh? You ain't holding no, you ain't bitter
oh
or
no,
holding
I
no.
don't. You know why I don't? Why I'm not going to ever hold a grudge against you? I'm not gonna hold a grudge against you because I gotta continue to live life. I'm gonna forgive you even if you never ask for forgiveness. I'm gonna still forgive you anyways, right? And I probably would never get the apology. I don't even care about the apology. The disrespect was the closure. I don't need to go back and get closure. Some people think they need to, some people don't. You don't need closure when somebody disrespects you. It is what it is. But I just learned that I gotta hold myself accountable. I gotta be responsible for things. I gotta realize that sometimes we keep getting the same spirit, just a different body, right? And
Hmm.
it's because of what we're pulling. Sometimes we pull that, we don't want that boring guy, right? We don't want that guy that does the 9 to 5 a lot of times. You don't. You want something exciting. You want something. But the thing is, we be looking for the illusions that social media be giving us of what a man is supposed to be, and that's the problem.
Wow. Okay, sister.
Now, bigger podcast. Can I point out something? The sister said, cooking said exactly what I said, and the sisters gave her no pushback at all. That's what I be
I
talking
have
about.
pushback.
That
So
sister, that sister, they were quiet, they listened, they observed, and they were saying, "Hey, you just got to learn from your mistakes." But I said the same thing she said,
Right. Come on.
But
Come
you a
on.
man though.
Come on, Daily Love. Come on.
brother.
No, that don't mean just because he's a man. All of y'all men always think that y'all know what a woman want. Y'all, how do y'all know what a woman want? You're not a woman, first off, and you never walked in a woman's shoes. You can laugh or smirk all you want. I said what I said.
What?
At the end of the
Right. Come on,
day,
sister.
Well, it's very
Come
easy.
on.
It's
Come
very
on,
easy,
sister.
right? Because it's
Uh,
what the way
you
you
let
act
can't
and
her,
sit
behave.
there.
you gotta let
Let
her
me
Let her
It's
talk.
land.
very
Let her
Let me
land.
easy.
talk.
Let her
Let
land,
me
brother.
talk. Don't cut
let
me
her
You know
speak.
you
off.
must be
That's
wrong.
rude. If y'all know what a woman want, then have respect for a woman, because that's what a woman want.
You like respectful men as well. That's the real question.
A woman
Do
will
you? Do you?
respect a man, but I'm on
That's
here
very much
talking.
cat.
Look at you. Look at
Now,
you. You don't
now
have
let
Let
her.
her, let her,
respect.
let her finish, my brother.
Yeah,
You
Let
but
was
her
you
finish.
quiet.
call
Let her
Okay,
finish.
yourself
go on.
you
Let,
call
let her
yourself a
finish.
king,
Let her finish because she
and
not
you know
done.
what a woman want. A
Listen,
woman
Come
want
on,
to
sister.
be
carry on.
respected. A woman want to be respected and honored and cherished. First off, y'all don't have respect for women because y'all on here sitting talking over a woman. You have to
Oh
have
man,
respect for yourself. You have to see what I mean.
right.
You have to have respect for
nah.
yourself
Right.
in order to respect a woman.
Let her get it out,
Y'all
brother.
don't know what a woman want because you sitting here talking over a woman. If you was a real man, you would respect a woman
Oh
while she's
Lord.
talking, and she will respect you at the same. I
Here
don't
comes
go
his
back and forth. I don't go
delusionals.
back and forth with men. And I will respect if you be quiet while I'm talking,
Come
because
on,
I'm gonna
sister.
give you the utmost respect. Understand? You a king. So I'm gonna respect you, but you're not gonna disrespect me while I'm talking.
Come on, sister.
So at the end of the day, stop saying y'all know what we want as women because you don't. I'd rather take a man that's been through the storm over a rich man any day because I want to go through the storm with him. I want to learn his ways. I want to know everything there is to know about him. I want to the position of me as being a queen. I want to lay in his arms and see the world through his eyes and no longer my own.
Do you know why that's cap, right? Because you just said something about a real man. You don't know what real man is because you're not a man. So
I think
you
she's
I
can't
don't know
say
what I know
no.
what
spoke your
No, you
truth.
don't. No,
I
you
don't
don't
know
know
what
what
a
a real
real
man
man
is.
is.
You,
I
you,
know
you,
I
you
know
don't know.
I
With
know
You
respect,
one
don't know a
queen.
thing.
real man is.
With
Can
Oh,
I
look,
respect,
look. You
talk?
see,
queen.
you
Can
see,
I
With
you see.
talk?
respect, you put her
Women
I
want
on.
know
respect.
one
Wait,
thing.
Look,
wait,
look.
You're
You
wait,
not a
see,
wait,
real
you see
man
wait.
the, you
because
see
you
the
don't
double
You
know
put
how
her
to
on.
hold
standards.
respect.
Look, you see
This
the
A
is
double
real man
wrong,
standards.
holds
queen.
respect.
That is
The double
hypocrisy. It is
standards.
Well,
hypocrisy.
queen, you
The
say not to cut
hypocrite,
you off, queen.
selfishness. Look, this is why
Dang.
BOK women are
He
selfish.
cut
Look,
it.
this is this is
I was
Right,
still
example
right.
of why
talking,
BOK women are
and
But
he
Man,
the
you
selfish.
was
gonna cut
podcast
me
bad.
No,
stopped
I
off.
though.
would,
But
No,
but
you
you just
weren't.
said you finished.
I
No,
You
you
said
was
you
haven't
was
still
finished.
finished.
talking.
Yeah,
This
you're
is why
finished.
I'm
BOK
not
women are
finna
Stop
fuss
selfish.
with
Mr. Beans,
lying.
y'all.
Mr.
This is the
Beans,
At
give it
the
a
end
example.
floor.
of the
Mr. Beans,
day,
give it. And Mr. Beans, give it to her, and then you go, brother.
I'm
Give
not
it
Give
to
it
her.
to
finna
her. This
fuss
is why
with
they're
y'all. At the
selfish.
end of the
Give it to her,
day,
brother. Give it. Mr. Beans,
you a
give it to her.
man, I'm a
She ain't gonna
woman.
never be
I know
done
how to
talking.
humble myself.
Just
So
give it
I'm
to her,
not finna
family.
go
Give it to
back
her.
and forth with you. I'm gonna humble myself. Go ahead, my king.
Go ahead, Mr. Beans.
Double standards because you can't define a real man. And you said women will respect, but yet you're over talking other people as well. So that was kind of funny. So I think it definitely goes both ways. So yeah,
Yep.
you
What's
was
kind?
just you was
I
just
think the
Mm.
delusional.
difference
You was very
though.
delusional for that, to be
What's kind of
honest.
There is no
funny? What's
difference.
kind of funny is
And
You
you
was
going
very.
back
funny.
and
You
You
see
don't
forth.
know how
again,
to hold respect
again.
for a
Hold on,
man because
again,
that's
And you
what's
going
again.
kind
back
of.
and forth. You going back
Look,
and forth with the
look.
man. You
See,
say you don't
see.
go
My
back and
point's
You
forth.
don't know
repeating.
how to hold respect
Host,
for a woman. That's
the
what's
host.
funny.
Look, you see
Not
this
all women
That's
are
example.
funny.
respectable.
The host. This
Dang.
example right there. You see the
It's a
example.
new day.
The host. Do you literally see the
Listen,
example?
I learned in life. I listen to comprehend. I don't even listen to respond. I
Ali,
listen to
Ali, did you see the
comprehend
example as well?
It
because
happens all the
Yeah,
Say that
time.
the host.
again,
You
my
see the example
queen.
as
Say
well.
that
Okay,
again, my
then.
queen.
I think it's more of listening to comprehend than listening to respond. See, this is the thing.
Exactly.
You can't hear somebody if you cut them off halfway through they talking. There's no way you can hear what they're saying because they don't even get to finish what they're saying. So I think, like you said, just listening to what they say. Everybody's not going to respect everybody's opinion. It is what it is, right? Everybody's not going to agree with everybody's opinion. It is what it is. That's just the world that we live in, right? But I think just as a BLK community, I think we as people can do better with listening to each other first. We can't get mad when they don't listen to us, when we don't even listen to each other. We don't even wait for each other to get what each other has to say. I'm not saying like I'm perfect by a long shot. I'm just saying I think everybody has a point that they're trying to make, but because we want to make our point first so we can prove our point more, we'll overspeak the next person. But I promise you, it's not necessary because guess what? Everybody's listening. You got a point, David. Mr. Bean's got a point. Now, whether people agree with those points, that's two different things. But guess what? Mr. Bean's opinion's not wrong. Daly's opinion's not wrong. Ali's opinion not wrong. You know why it's not wrong? Because it's their opinion. Your opinion can't be wrong when it's your opinion.
Well, no,
Now,
that's
is
not
it
true.
wrong for other people? Yeah. But it can't be wrong when it's your opinion because it's your
She's saying it's
opinion.
just your opinion. She brother,
Yeah.
she just
Right.
said that's our opinion.
No, no,
That's what
no.
she's
I'm just
saying.
saying your
I get
opinion
that.
can't be wrong to yourself because it's your opinion. I can't tell your opinion
Well,
wrong.
he right
That's
about
your
that
opinion.
though.
Oh,
You can
okay.
Opinions
have your
can be
own
wrong.
opinions can be wrong, but people are
Yes.
entitled to their opinions. We
But
don't
I'm
Right.
saying
disagree.
Exactly.
I can't tell your opinion is wrong, right? Even if I
No,
don't
no, you
agree with
can.
it, it's
No, you
yours. I
no
can tell you, but
unapologetic. You can say you're wrong, but you like you. I think what you're trying to say to not play semantics is that people are entitled to their opinions, and
Right.
exactly,
you shouldn't disrespect someone because they have an opinion. You should listen.
Right.
exactly.
You should listen to them, and I agree with you 100%.
But that's it. I don't have
As
nothing
as
else.
as as the new person on the panel, am I able to like answer the prompt? Okay, cool. So honestly, I do not feel like it's anybody's responsibility to take on somebody else's trauma. Especially after a certain age, you are responsible for taking accountability for the things that you contributed to, or even the things that you had no option in, like you were just born in certain situations and you had to deal with this and you had to deal with that. That doesn't mean when you come into this relationship, I get to throw all of that on you. I get to drag you through the mud. I get to make you feel some type of way and add trauma to your life just based off of what I had to experience. So I think Now, nobody's perfect in the same breath. So I think that each person need to decide what I cannot deal with and what I can deal with, have that honest conversation up front. So a lot of y'all think that, oh, this person wasted my time. They did it. No, you acted like you was this type of person in the beginning. They found out who you really were and the type of stuff that you do. And now they're not interested no more. Now they can't fuck with you no more. And now you mad at that. That's not how it works. If you was honest in the beginning and say, hey, I ain't gonna lie, when this happens, I react like this. Or this is the type of stuff I deal with. And I ain't saying that you gotta say that on the first day of meeting somebody, but before you commit to this person, y'all have to be honest about the things that y'all got going on. Therefore, but me personally, if it's a deal breaker in the beginning, if you would have told me first day and I would have stopped talking to you, if I find out a year later, I'm gonna stop talking to you still. So now I'm not wasting your time. You wasted your time. So that's how I feel about that situation. And I land.
Would you say that you're an avoidant person?
No.
Would you say that you're able to like so, because you said something that I thought was interesting. Are you in a relationship, by the way?
Say it again.
Are you in a relationship?
Yeah.
So you said you want to make sure that you're with someone who will be upfront with you and tell you how they'll react to something before you commit to that relationship. Is that correct? You said something along those lines, right?
Say it again. You kind of went out. Say it again.
So you said, from what I heard, that people should be upfront and honest when they're interacting with another, and they should be clear about how they react to things and how they show up and communicate from the jump, from the get go, before
Right.
you commit to the relationship. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Right.
So I think that's pretty interesting because I was the other day I was like looking into some article that was talking about the way you can assess if whether or not your partner is a good long term partner, right? And you have to consider how they're going to react when you lose your parents, how you might react if you ever lose a job, how you
Mm-hmm.
might react if you've gone through a crisis. And majority of the strongest relationships can go through those things and make it, but no one ever knows how they're going to react to that. You know what I mean? No one ever knows how they're going to respond to something like that. So if your condition is this person has to know exactly who they are before they get into a relationship, do you feel like that might be a little bit unfair in some ways?
No, because what I'm talking about is, I mean, you're talking about a huge life event. So if a person's parent passed away, like,
Or even just
I'm
losing
not,
a job or like a car act, like little, like everything, stuff like that. Like, what do you think
well,
about it?
Well, the question
well,
is,
like,
would women do the same?
wait, hold on, wait.
Okay, go on, bro.
So, no, you good. So it's not unfair. Now, what I'm thinking about when I say these things is, something just happened to you don't see eye to eye in the conversation that we had, perspective or something of that nature, right? And you feel like it's okay. Okay, perfect example. I was on another live with this girl, and she was saying whenever she get mad at a dude, if she bought the shirt or she bought whatever it is that she bought for him, she feels like she's obligated and she's able to tear it up. She's able to cut it up, the shirt, the shoes, bleach, whatever her clothes. She feels like that's okay to do.
Wait,
I,
wait. Could you just
what?
repeat that? Because I want to make sure I heard you.
Okay, so on another live, I was talking to a girl and she said whenever she's in a relationship with a dude, if the guy does something that she doesn't like, she feels like it's okay to cut up his clothes, what if especially if she bought it. So if she buys whatever it is that he has, she feels like it's okay for her to cut it up, or she feel like it's okay for her to respond violently, and
Not
he
normal.
shouldn't do the same. That's what I'm saying though. So if I know that you act like that, if I know that, see, this is the conversations I have with people. I don't necessarily have to ask a woman, "Will you cut my clothes up?" If you get mad, when we have conversations like that in passing, and I hear a woman say stuff like that, I know that I would never in my life talk to this woman. She might
Well,
not know that.
that depends. I mean, I think anyone would feel that way if any person did that, because that's a sign of like extreme violence.
Right. So that's what I'm saying though. So I need to know the
I
type of
see what you're
person you
saying.
are. Right. I need to know how you react in certain situations. I had girls when I couldn't get a word in with them. They were never wrong. They try to gaslight me. I didn't know that when I first met her, she was bringing me uh she was bringing me fruit to my job. going to the market, chopping up fruit. Oh, I can't wait to cook for you. All of this lovey-dovey stuff. And as soon as something didn't go her way, she was crazy, talking crazy. If I find out you doing this, I'm gonna do this to you, and blah 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 blah, and blah, blah, blah. I didn't know she was like that. But if I would have known that before, that's how she handles situations that she don't like.
But
We would have
see,
never spoke.
that's kind of my
Great
point,
point.
though, is that you will never really know until you're in the situation.
Right. So
You
that's what I said.
have to build your
It
own boundaries around. I see what you're saying. Like you have to build your
exactly.
own boundaries in order to interact in dynamics with
Right.
people.
Like
And I told her,
you see a lot of times. You see a
my
lot of
bad.
times, to your point, my brother, women ask brothers for the truth. They want to know what a brother is capable of and how he would operate in a relationship. So a lot of times we'll ask the sisters on our shows, hey, if a brother asks you for your red flags, would you tell them? That's essentially what he's asking. How you going to operate when things are good? How you going to operate when things are bad? And if a sister won't tell you their red flags, it's almost impossible. And it's wrong if a man is trying to ask you for your red flags, what's your pros and cons, and you don't explain it to him, and then you get in a relationship and the person is doing completely opposite or different from what they spoke about to have a healthy relationship. Because when the relationships fail, the brothers and sisters will turn around and say, did you vet better? Did you vet her? Did you find out who this woman was? You picked the wrong woman. But a lot of brothers do try to operate in that kind of sense where a lot of sisters will bait and switch. So he's just doing what the brothers and sisters are asking if we come on here and talk about the sisters that don't demonstrate healthy behaviors.
Wait,
So it
so
seems like you're trying to
so
vet people who are
go on, Obi.
potentially abusive.
Wait, say that again?
N-
Oh, I
No,
see
no, no,
that.
no, no. It's we're trying to build a healthy relationship to
What she
put
said?
everything on the table. She said it seems like you're trying to avoid
No, I
what kind
didn't
of
say that.
relationship?
I
What
said
did
it
you say?
seems that you guys are vetting for abusive
Yes, yes.
Hold
No,
on,
no,
hold
tendencies.
no,
on.
not
I
Oh no, no,
host,
no.
no,
We
no, no,
vetting
no.
for all negative
host, can I
things.
ask a question?
See,
Sorry, you see TikTok friendly language. Are you allowed to use those words? Because I know some people's accounts will get banned and stuff for saying those
No, we
words.
got to be careful, though. We got to be careful, but
Yeah,
long
that's
as
what I was
we're
saying.
crazy with it, we'll
but
be
but
okay.
I think that's the reason why it's important to know a difference between a flaw and a flag, right? A
Right.
lot of people would downplay a flag and put it as a flaw because they like certain characteristics about that person or whatever. And then they'd be like, I didn't really know that was a real problem. How you didn't know? That person showed you exactly what you needed to see in the beginning, but you felt like, oh, you know what? Instead of red flags, I could turn these red flags into green flags. And he's right. A lot of women will try to change a person because they're like, oh, that ain't really that bad. I think, if I just give him this, if I do that, if I do this, he'll eventually change and be the person that I want him to be. But is that right to ask him to change his character to mold around you to fit you?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Wait, can you
Yeah, but
go to
look,
my,
hold
can I
on,
go
wait.
to my point? Can I go back to my point when I said understanding is crucial because you need to understand that you cannot change humans. Like you have to learn that that person will never change.
But
So
our default is also not
for whatever no, but it goes back to why I
even.
said, yeah, you should never like a person. You should never like a person because he might look good. Like you should understand what he's like as a person. You need to like evaluate this person because if you don't, you're gonna end up seeing situations where he might have made a mistake, but it could be a crucial mistake where you're like, okay, you know what, don't worry, I'll be with him, and you will make it into a green flag, and then now later on you realize what I've done was very silly because now you're gonna regret your actions, right? That's what it comes down to understanding. You can never change a person. That's the first things first. That's what I would say.
But hold on, wait. I want y'all to pay attention to something that just happened in the comments, right? So
All right.
the girl said she'll tell some of her red flags, but not all. I asked her why. She said, so I can get you to let your guard down. You gotta realize there's evil ass people in this world trying to do shit to you, bro. For
That's
whatever reason.
that's
Hold
extreme.
on. We want
That's
to
So
hear
extreme.
T Fields. We want to hear T Fields
Not
speak. We
extreme.
haven't
Very
had a chance to let him
deep.
talk.
that's not
Come on,
extreme.
T Fields. You there? T
Huh?
Fields, you want to speak, brother, or you okay?
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right, I've been here for a minute, man.
I know. Come on, speak. Come on.
First of all, yeah, the question is for you, the host. It says, "Are we all responsible for someone else's trauma?"
Yeah.
I feel like the topic is quite broad because
Yeah.
when I first read it, I went through different phases. I was thinking childhood, parents,
Yeah.
relationship, until I saw the picture as well. And yeah, so maybe my opinion. could have just put like maybe between partners or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's open. It's open. Come on.
hold, hold on, so that you can just be straight up and we know.
Yeah.
And big up to the lady that said something about opinion, because I feel like everyone is just opinionated, and it's TikTok. You can say anything you want. If you have to take it, then you take it. It's your problem. You get, just say what you need to say. There's no hounding, and the emotional blackmail needs to stop. Whether or not a woman says something that favors the woman, or a man says it. I want to believe that we all have a brain, and we've gone to the stage where we don't even need no one to tell us these things anymore. Societal values dropped, morals dropped. There's things that we men know that we do are stupidness, and there's things that women know that, and we can acknowledge to them. You know what I mean? So if we keep going on each other about, yeah, women do this and women don't do that, it's long. So I would go back to the prompt, which says, are you responsible for someone else's trauma? I do not think so, because like one guy said earlier, he said, as long as you're an adult, you should be responsible for your actions, which is very correct. Someone talked about therapy as well. To be honest, therapy goes a long way. And to me, in my opinion, again, I don't think it works, because as an African guy, I live in the UK. I've been here for a few years now. But I've been able to learn that, you see, this emotion thing is going to kill our BLK community. It will, because we keep using emotions to answer these questions rather than just face the surface of it. So would it give you, are you responsible for the trauma? No, you're not. All you need to do is heal and move on, and, learn from your mistakes, period. And as adults, we don't need to lie to each other anymore, man. Especially the BLK community. There's certain things that Allah has said tonight that makes a whole lot of sense. I saw deflection. There's certain things that a few of the ladies have said as well. I saw the deflection, and it doesn't make any sense to me, though. No offense to anyone, and that's just all I have to say. Just take accountability for your actions and do right by you. I'll use myself before I go as a personal experience. Like, obviously, I just turned 37 on the 4th of June, and I've been in a couple of relationships. I'm not going to lie to you. I can tell a bad woman when I see one, and vice versa. A woman too can do the same. There is no competition in, yeah, who are you to tell me how to be a man, or who are you to tell me how to be a woman? Bro, we had mothers, we have sisters, we have aunties, grandmothers. Why don't we know how women operate? Like, it's just going to keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So let's just be easy, man. If you're going to put out your opinion and, do it smoothly, big up everyone, man. This is my second time on someone's life, though. I've never been. My second time. Happy to meet everyone. Thank you.
See, Buzzy from London.
Yeah,
Oh, where are you from in Africa?
Ninja.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice having
Oh,
you, man.
yeah. You're from
Big up
London
London.
too, man. I can hear
Yeah,
the
from
accent
London,
already.
Yeah, from London still.
Nice one, my bro. Yeah, I'm gonna follow you straight up.
Yeah, man.
All right, nice one, bro.
That's
Thank
why
you, host. Thanks, everyone.
Do
Nice
y'all
meeting
think
you, fam.
do y'all think that people wear or it's possible for people to wear their trauma through certain like let's see, just based off of the clothes they wear, tattoos, piercings, do you think that people could tell based off of that?
Yeah.
mm,
I think so.
you
I
could have
mean,
did it in a younger area of your life. Like,
100%,
I
100%.
I
Yeah.
think and I'm gonna be real, and this is anecdotal, but every woman I ever met in my life who had a septum piercing, something was wrong with her. Every single woman I
Why you
met in my
gotta go
life who
there?
had that shit, they was fucking nuts. I'm just being real.
Hey, Jet, the more unnatural they are, the more accessories they add to themselves, the more lack of substance they have as an individual, like on themselves.
Oh wow, this is a whole new term for him.
Fake
Interesting.
eyebrows, fake eyelashes, fake
Oh
hair,
wow, this is
fake
interesting.
butt, fake breasts,
so
fake
you up in
face
a minute,
filters.
sister.
Oh, well,
It
see,
just
You
This
want
is an
to
interesting one.
you
I
want
was
to
just on a
speak?
panel by it earlier, but yeah.
huh?
She's tearing up that watermelon.
Oh,
It's too good. Like, oh my god, I'm trying to keep up, but it's like I was gonna say though,
Ali might have a point.
I
Anyways,
firmly
go ahead.
believe you attract what you are. And
I
so
don't believe that.
while we think that when we're interacting with people, we can be like, oh, well, they can't put their trauma on me. Put that trauma somewhere else. I got my own thing to worry about. I'm too good to deal with your trauma. Like, don't forget that you have also been the villain in other people's narrative as well. So while you come up here and tell us that every girl that I dated who had a septum piercing was
I said
crazy,
met.
men, either way,
I said
every
met.
man that you. So what
I ain't
was
say
it?
I dated him.
What did you say about the septum piercing? Can you just repeat that?
No, I said that every woman that I've ever met, MET, that had a
The
septum piercing, something
Every
was wrong with them.
woman that you met that had a septum piercing, you said was crazy, right? And
Right.
some people could look at that and be like, damn, yeah, people with septum piercings are freaking bat shit crazy, right? One, that's like superficial and judgmental. But two, it's like I could also say, oh, well, this individual attracts a lot of and meets a lot of individuals with septum piercings. And for some reason, he gets the crazy aspects of that person when he's around him. So, what would that mean about you, right? And so, I
I
think
think
that,
what?
as
Tyus is
I said
was.
earlier with Ali, he said something, and I was like, it sounds like that's a projection of how you experience women in your life. Like, everything that we experience in our own lives is a projection of who we are. Everyone's a
Do
pushed
you
out version
see?
of you.
Do you
So
That's
if
not
realize
you
that
true.
you say do you
crazy women,
realize you keep telling the men they're projecting and unapologetic just talked about not personalizing it and not making it about ourselves and say people are being judgmental in opinion and you keep saying the men are projecting when they telling you your truth. You know what's ironic
Right.
about this is that if women actually listen to men that cared about them and respected them and they listen to their fathers, they'd be in much better situations. But y'all keep listening to yourselves, and then we're not the ones saying we got
I
PTSD
love
and
my
traumatized. Can I finish, ma'am? We're not the ones coming on live saying we got PTSD, we triggered, y'all gaslighting, I need to heal, I'm traumatized. Women are. But you know why? Because you keep listening to your mother, you keep listening to other women that's single and miserable, and you keep listening to yourself and relying on your judgment instead of men and fathers and uncles and the patriarchy that cares about you. You
the
keep weaponizing your
patriarchy.
own. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Yes, the true patriarchy that protects you as well too. That's why you're free. That's why you're getting educated. That's why you're having rights. That's why you can go to work. That's why you can have your own money. That's why you can push self-love and happiness. That's why you can do feminism. That's why you can do sexual liberation. All y'all are, every time y'all talk about doing something, getting lit or living your best life, it's on some 304 stuff. It's not on no humanitarian stuff. It's not no philanthropist. It's not building no
That's
family.
true.
It's not investing with a man. It's always on some 304 stuff. Everything,
Oh
most of the
my god,
decisions our
that's
sisters
crazy.
most of the sisters keep that talk like you that keep saying projection is you really projecting because you don't like what we're saying and it affects
Well,
you because
that
you have that mentality. If
it's
you
more
have a
so
good mentality, if
gaslighting.
you have a good mentality such as melanin or other sisters that come on here that share that they need the coverage and respect and protection of men, they don't get offended by it. They go, that's exactly what we need. So please stop saying we projecting when things that we are saying will help the community versus all the single motherhood stuff that's happening, all the kids out of wedlock, all these kids that's under father don't have men, and then you say you don't need men, but then everything you need is a man.
So
That's
wait,
crazy.
lovely,
So
lovely. Hold on,
earlier
wait,
I said projecting,
wait, lovely.
and
Let me
if
ask
you
you
were
this first.
listening to what I was saying, you would have heard me say that we are all projecting our experiences with people in relationships because we attract what we are.
But if you would
So
have listened to what
before
I
you take
said,
that so personal
That's not
and
true,
start
wait,
ma'am.
going
wait,
on a
Everything is not
tangent
projecting. No man
wait, hold
and
on,
talking
wait.
men.
about patriarchy is the reason why we have freedom when feminism is only a result of patriarchy because of the lack of rights women have. You guys love to sit up here and be like, oh, well, our generation of women, older generation of women, all the women who didn't have rights, all the women who didn't get bank accounts until 70 years ago,
Have
you want
families.
to say
They
that,
had
oh,
families.
they're telling me that bad things about men when they're really telling me why they're single mothers, when they're telling me why they couldn't have bank accounts, when they're telling me why they couldn't own land, why they're telling me they couldn't have all these things. Even people like Martin Luther King cheated on his wife, right? So, like, you need to be more for real because patriarchy, especially white patriarchy in which we live under, doesn't benefit you, black man, or me. So don't sit up here and glaze freaking white supremacy
Wait,
or
hold on, wait. So let me ask you this.
male
So,
ego. Like, that's weird. That's
so,
weird.
so
That's
wait, before
weird.
when I got up here, when I
Y'all
said,
be loving the white man's work. I cannot.
can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish?
Go ahead.
So I when I came up here, I just want to say this real quick because she responded to what I said. So when I got up, when I said what I just said, I said first and foremost that's anecdotal. So yeah, most of the majority of women I have met with septum piercing definitely was crazy. That's not a projection. That's my experience. So it's not a projection. So
It's
all
not.
right, so let me ask you this: every man that you ever dated that did you wrong, it was your fault?
Every man that I ever dated, second time, yeah, it was my fault.
No, 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 no,
DJ,
no, 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 not the second time. The man that you chose that did you wrong the first
I'll
time,
say the second time.
is that your fault? Is it your responsibility that he did you wrong? Is it your fault?
Is it my responsibility
Because you
that
chose him.
Oh,
You gave him
come
access.
on,
my
come on, come on,
responsibility
man.
But see
Come on,
how
you
you see
should know
how
the
you
answer already.
his hands
but
on
wait,
me when I was
wait,
16?
wait,
Is
wait,
it
wait.
my responsibility
Hold
that
on,
my
hold on, hold on,
put his
hold on,
hands on
hold on.
me when I
Come
was
on.
16?
But
Hold
wait,
on,
wait, wait,
hold
wait,
on,
wait,
hold on.
wait.
Ask
Wait,
questions
at
first
16,
before you
Wait.
at
No, 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 no,
16,
no,
you're
no,
allowed
no.
to
Wait.
drive.
ask
Wait,
questions
hold on,
before you take
wait,
them.
Mr.
You ask weird questions like that, right?
Wait, no, 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 wait.
You're
So
trying to make
the
it seem like women pick abusers or women pick
wait. Just
bad
stop.
men
Just stop.
when
Just
men
stop.
are
Just
She
stop.
said
manipulative.
it
Just
again.
stop.
Look, she said it again. Is
Just
she allowed
stop
to
though.
say that?
This is wait, hold on, wait. This is what
Is
I'm
she
trying
allowed
to
to say that word, host?
wait. I wasn't finished. I wasn't finished. Hold on. The reason why, and you gave the reaction that you should have gave. Because first and foremost, that's the same thing I just told you is the same thing you just said to me. I'm the reason why that happened. It's my fault that I attracted those women. They acted crazy because of me. That's exactly what you just said. So when I turned around on you, you making like, is it my fault that he put hands on me? Is it my
The
fault? Da, 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 da. Like,
difference is,
what sense do you?
the difference is
That's
you
hypocrisy.
interact with someone and someone physically hitting you and you having an interaction, they're completely different, right? So a
What?
This is the problem, you
woman,
lot. You
like,
don't
just
like to go
listen,
to the extreme.
just stay with me. Just stay with me for a
You
second,
like to
right?
go to the extreme. Let's
Just
be
stay
real.
with me for a
That's
second.
hypocrisy, bro. That's real
No, it's
hypocrisy.
not.
Yes,
No,
it
it's not.
is,
Just
bro.
stay with me
It's
for a
my
second.
fault when women treat me
Just
bad.
stay.
It's the man fault when they treat you
I
bad.
literally was specifically talking about the septum piercing comment.
Okay.
The
Did
word.
I say anything else? I said the septum piercing comment.
Okay, so let me hear you make that
Someone
point.
inflicting pain on you and hitting you or harming you, that's their choice. Now, you staying, that is your choice. Yeah, I stayed. I was 16 years old. Okay,
What
right?
difference are you
Oh,
think he's
come on.
saying?
So
Hey,
when
mates, come
you're
on,
in
man.
a dynamic with a toxic individual or a toxic woman or an abusive person, right? And they're
See, she
harming
keeps saying that word again.
Yeah,
Like,
you have to
why'd you go
say
so extreme?
you have to say A B. You
You're
can't.
just gonna get,
Yeah.
you're gonna get your
so,
account
and they're
banned, you know.
being
No,
you,
I told her she got it.
and they're a. I love the TikTok shop, and they're a being you. You choosing to stay, it's a little bit much more nuanced than that, right?
That's oh my
Because
God.
keep saying, just stay with me, because this applies for men and women. Everyone keeps saying, oh, well, don't put your trauma on me. Trauma this, trauma that, right? We don't understand the depths of trauma, nor do we understand the depths of AB. So when we're attracting certain experiences, it's because of our familiarity with that behavior. So what I'm saying and what I said from the jump before you got on here was that we have attachment styles as people, right? And a lot of times people are attracting individuals that trigger their attachment styles, right? And so if you're interacting with a certain person, it's a projection of what you're putting out there. So yes, it's not fair that people do things to us and inflict. But if we continue to interact and engage, yeah, that's a problem. But you can never take responsibility for someone else's trauma before you met them or for what they decide to do to you because of their trauma.
But you still went with
That's
them.
what I'm saying.
You
But
deflected the whole thing I
you
said.
still went with
I
that
know you
man.
get what I'm saying.
No,
I
no.
know you
You
get what I'm
said you were
saying.
16 years old and you still went with that man. You
No, no, no,
knew
no, no,
what that
no.
man was doing.
I don't even
You
want to make
knew,
that point.
right? Come on, let's be realistic, right?
I don't even
You
want to
don't
make
Don't
that
know.
point.
understand how AB works. You
I'm
said
talking
No,
I
about
said
the
it was
wait.
a psychological thing. I said it's a mental thing. I said it's a nervous system thing. I
Oh
said it's
my
a
God.
familiarity thing and
so the
attachment.
host, are you seeing this, right? So
You
I'm
when
can
trying to
they,
keep up with what I'm saying, and you can just admit that.
I'm trying to get to the point before we even get to the point where he abused you, or my bad, or AB'd you. I'm saying you chose this person. The
You
whole
did
thing.
not
The,
choose me.
wait. You literally, quite literally said that I'm attracting these people because of something is that has to do with me.
Yeah, with
So
me, yeah.
you're right. So that means if you're attracting dudes who AB you and do all this other stuff, that means that now you're at fault, right? It's
I
something
agree
that it
with
has to do with
past
you,
tense.
huh?
Past tense. Let's use past tense verbiage, right?
You agreeing with what I said?
So you asked me, so if I'm staying in that dynamic, that means that it's not
Man.
me.
No, 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 no. I'm not asking about staying before we even get there. I'm
Hold
asking the
on,
fact that you attracted this person.
hold on, brother. We got Daily Love, Bina, and Unapologetic. We haven't heard from them. You guys want to speak? Go ahead.
For the
I don't know
moment,
who's gonna go
for the
first,
moment right
but
now, I'm just
go ahead.
listening.
Okay. Come on, Bina.
Whoo, child.
Yeah, good job. Come on, talk about it. Yeah, talk about it. Come on.
Okay. It's funny that you're having this discussion, and I just came off of another live where the topic was everything is a man's fault, and we were we were engaging in that discussion, and it was going well until Passport Bro showed up to the live, and then I had to leave because I cannot stomach him. But anyway, I digress. Where was I going to go with the point I was trying to shit. Okay, so I understand what girl. Okay, so as far as trauma goes, right? So as children, obviously we're not the people that are responsible for our trauma. Our traumas are the adults that were involved in our lives, right?
Right.
So, as adults, however, there comes a point in time where you can no longer blame your actions on your trauma. There is a point in time where you have to take responsibility for your actions as adults. And you need to recognize, or hopefully you have people in your life that can help you to recognize that you need help. There are some things that you need to heal from. And I think that everyone can benefit from it. I am a therapy proponent. I preach that on a daily basis. Everybody go to therapy, and it doesn't have to be sitting in somebody's office. It could be as simple as, I mean, I even said this earlier on another live, like even these panel discussions can be a form of therapy, but it's also about like acknowledging what's what you feel like you need to grow from, you know what I mean? And so, but as adults, I do think that we have to do some type of, there's a point we have to do some type of self-reflection and um and growing to become better versions of ourselves. And so no, as adults, no one is responsible for our trauma, to answer the prompt, but our trauma stems from the things that we experienced in our childhood. So that's all I want to say there.
On Miss Daily Love or Miss Unapologetic, you want? Come on, Melanie. You want to speak?
I was just gonna say is one thing
I
people
just
got.
I
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Come on, Mel.
I just don't feel like anyone is responsible for someone else's trauma. That's an internal thing. You need to figure it out. I don't agree with trauma dumping. I was on a live the other day and I got told to never get married because I said after 6 7 years, like let's say a man is working and something happens to where he's mentally not there anymore and he stops working. There's nothing going on, there's no progress being shown, there's no changes happening, and I said I wasn't going to stay. And they told me to never get married because like men wouldn't want to be attracted to that. But for me, it's like, how do you expect me to stay 6 7 years in something, no change, no progress? You just want me to stay because I'm committed. So but I don't believe in that. You have to figure it out with yourself. You shouldn't dump that on other people. That's not their responsibility.
And just to piggyback on what you said, I just want to say I will wholeheartedly agree. And that's why I just made the distinction between like childhood and adulthood, right? Because
Right.
again, children are not responsible for their trauma that's inflicted upon them. However, like I said, I don't
I find it very just distasteful when, as an adult, you use trauma as your childhood trauma as an excuse for your behavior. You know what I mean? So that's why I was just trying to make that distinction. But I agree with what you're saying.
Sometimes too, as I'm understanding and going through therapy, is that it's not necessarily their lack of responsibility when it comes to their childhood trauma, but it's a lack of responsibility of what that childhood trauma has caused to their mental health. And I don't think that like black people we have a comfortable dynamic. Well, it's changing, like with therapy and mental health and stuff like that. Because when he was explaining earlier, the girl who like was saying that she was going to like slice up her partner stuff and like do all of that stuff when she was upset. That's not normal behavior, right? But we have this glorified and almost like fetish with violence against each other in romantic relationships. And so I feel like sometimes those behaviors are a result of a mental health thing that's not being addressed, because that's not normal behavior. And that's why I keep talking about attachment and stuff like that, because I'm learning what my therapist is telling me, right? Like, if someone is constantly trauma dumping, that points to a certain behavior that could be looked at as like depression, or looked at as like, is this person experiencing psychosis, or or people who are extremely paranoid, like when you're with this person, they're constantly like, oh, we can't go here because someone's like, that on the surface level, this person is being inconvenient in the moment, but at a deeper level, what if this person's experiencing psychosis because of a childhood trauma that they didn't address? So I feel like if we start to move the goalpost to talking about why people aren't getting mental health support, then it wouldn't have to always be about, oh, you're doing this to me because you're a woman and I'm doing this to you because I'm a man, but like more so like we are mentally showing up in a way that could grow. We could grow in this, and we're not growing. So that's why I'm a little reluctant with being like, oh, like I can't mess with you if you have trauma, you have baggage, because I can't, I won't, I wouldn't want someone to like not want to be with me because of my trauma or my baggage, in which I have love, you know what I mean? But that's because I choose to work through it too. And I have the privilege and I have the money for therapy. So if I couldn't have therapy, or if I didn't have the work or the desire to become better, absolutely not. I shouldn't be in a relationship. But I think if you have a desire to change and you have the resources to get support, you do deserve to be in a relationship and work through those things, like with someone who's willing to do that for you too.
But yeah,
And that's a real that exists out there. So that's my opinion.
but at the same time, you're not 100% wrong at all. But you do not get to nobody gets to determine what's too much for another person. So you can so if you can be working on whatever trauma it is you're working on, once you put that, and then you have to be honest about said trauma in the first place. You need to put That's why I said what I said when I first came up here. You need to make these people aware exactly what it is you're talking about that you got going on, and they get the choice to choose whether they want to deal with that or not. And if they don't, you got to accept that. You can't say, I don't want you to, I'm not going to tell you the trauma because I don't want you to decide to leave me, or I'm gonna just get in a relationship with you and show you later on. You're gonna waste your own time.
Well, what
So
kind
that
of trauma are you talking about?
it depends on the person. That's what I said. Some You said there's some people who's going to be in a relationship with certain people, and they're going to help them work through the trauma, or they're going to deal with the trauma, whatever. That's for that individual to decide. So whatever it is that you got going on, you got to let that person know. If they think that's too much for them to handle, or they not trying to do that, or they already moved past a certain area in life and they not trying to go back, you got to accept that. Just deal with it. It might hurt. Nobody likes rejection, but at the end of the day, you do not get to decide to make somebody deal with something
It's
that you
just like
deem not a too big of a deal.
that's what boundaries are for, right? That's why everyone has their boundaries. And I feel like that's kind of what you're saying. Like people who have certain boundaries don't have to endure certain things in relationships, right? But what I'm saying is like if you're in a relationship with someone, it's inevitable that they might be triggered because of their trauma. And so if you're picking and choosing when you also know you have trauma too, right? Like I think it's a little kind of like messed up in a way. And I feel like everyone, yeah, have your own boundaries and accept what you will and accept what you and don't accept what you don't want to. But at the end of the day, everyone does have baggage. So
Not everyone's got baggage.
But
Like
but
people
I
might
think
bag no,
decide
people might
what you
bag. Okay, go
handle
on,
and what
speak.
you don't want to handle. So that's true too.
No. You
but I
can't.
think
You
it's
can't.
our okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Bean.
No, go on, project. Go on. You can go.
Oh, no, I'm just saying that's the thing. It's our responsibility to heal ourselves, right? You're responsible for healing yourself. Nobody else around you is responsible for healing you, right? And I think that's the thing. A lot of people they say people come with trauma. Well, people come with trauma. Okay, to be honest with you, we're all going to be healing for the rest of our life because healing is a journey. It's not a race. It's not something that people get to real quick and then just be done with it, right? You're going to always continue to have triggers in your life. You just have to learn how to navigate through those triggers, right? But the problem is most people with trauma, what they do is a lot of people excuse them their bad behaviors and their bad situations and things that they do because of the titles that they hold in their life. And we as people don't hold people accountable, to be honest with you, for the bad behaviors and stuff. So they continue to do it. But this is the thing. If you don't heal, you're going to bleed on somebody else, right? And that's not fair to the next person. And I agree with, I don't even know how to say your name because I don't have glasses on, but it starts with a G. That's all I know.
Yeah, call me G.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, but he said the truth. You know, a lot of times you don't know, but I rather know some of the things with you. So let me make the decision. Don't make the decision for me and say, oh, well, I thought maybe you can deal with that. No, you're not going to make the decision for me what I can deal with and what I can't deal with, right? See, a lot of people will build you up with their words and tear you down with their actions. That's the problem.
I think that all of this stuff and talking about trauma and I rarely hear a lot of men speaking about how much conflict that they're looking or preparing for as far as all this trauma. I think that if people got into relationship based on who they are and what they're planning to do, I think that that should be enough for the basis of relationships.
Right.
Um, because all of this added things that people are creating just to create more division or to
Right.
create more separation as far as why somebody has to be here or have you dealt with this. I think that's the grit of the whole problem is we keep creating more things to divide over. Like how are you going to say, oh well, you haven't dealt with this, or
Right.
you haven't went into the inner side of yourself and let that go, and we try to focus in on the wrong things. We can't even get a relationship right. Like, hey, let's coincide together, let's build a family and build structure. That's where our start should be, instead of trying to figure out where everybody's trauma is.
But the problem is, right? The problem is, right? The guidance is not really there. Like, not everyone's got the guidance like you have. People, you might have the right mindset, but not everyone's going to be like you. And it's unfortunate, right? Because, nowadays relationships it's just being treated. Not even relationships, like people. You know what? Relationships not even a thing in society nowadays. There's hookup culture. There's promiscuous culture, same thing, and there's people with rosters. So when you're saying that, I get what you're saying, but in today's society, like people are not gonna be like you generally, and there needs to be more people like you, peoples, but it's like it's just gonna be very, very rare.
You sound so
Both
pessimistic
sides.
about it.
So, pardon?
You sound very pessimistic about it.
How? I'm not being personal about it.
You're trying to sound like a realist, but that's just not that isn't the reality for everyone.
That is the reality. Let's be real.
No, it's not. That's your
Yeah,
pessimism.
let's be real. That's
Yeah,
okay.
see all these
Okay.
extra words you're trying to call people instead of just having a conversation. Like you got to create some type of division. The man said what he said. Period. Why are you
But
wanting to
like
call him a
there
pessimist
is there is
instead
there
of
is
just
but there
listening to
is
what he wanted to say?
but there is okay. But nowadays, right? You would okay. Not I'm not saying all. I'm not gonna say everyone. But most of the women I see will turn down a good man who wants an actual intentional family and who wants to understand you for you. You would rather go with another guy that's got experience that's had multiple things going on with himself, and yet you become a plural to him. So like what people is saying is very much true because, you know, not a lot of women think like that nowadays.
Okay, guys, I appreciate everybody being here, but I got to be back at 9:30, so I usually end this at about 8 o'clock. A
What
lot of
time is it?
different insights. Hopefully, a lot of people had some good engagement. And
All right, have a good one, bro. Thank
if
you.
you guys come
Hey,
back, I
bro.
appreciate seeing you later, 9:30. Come on.
Hey, fam. Real quick. I just wanted to tell you, man, I've been following your platform for a while. This is the very first time that I come up.
I
I
appreciate you
appreciate
coming
you
up,
bringing
man.
me up, man, and much respect to everything that you're doing, and respect to everybody that's up here, women and men. Seriously, just for being able to have the conversation. It seems like everybody's been respecting everybody on the most. So I just want to thank y'all for your time. I appreciate you listening.
Thank you, brother. I'll be back at 9:30 every day. I'll be here at 5:30 and 9:30. So I stay for about 2.5 hours at 5:30, something like that. Then I'll come back at 9:30 and I'll be on for a couple hours then. So you're welcome to come back anytime, man.
Bet that. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Unapologetic and the other ladies, you guys want to speak before we end it?
No, I just want to say it was a blessing being on here, hearing everybody's opinion. You know, we all can learn from one another. And like he said, you know, everybody just got to listen and not be so quick to speak.
Yeah, you know, people be having their disposition, but I appreciate the sisters that come and they stand on their own and then they be able to engage in conversation. The whole goal is about a conversation. That's it. Just having a conversation. A lot of people see it the way they see it. I wanted a utopia at one point, but that's me being in denial. It's a reality to the things that's happening. So
Masters lying to the public. They ain't got the truth in them. Lights out, gas off, boot listed city pimping. Blocks on fire cause the homeowners broke as fuck. Taxes up, water bill higher than a cement truck. It's a bigger play, a bigger play. Death before dishonor is